for joining us on another week of Unpacked. We are doing Upset the Vows Q&A.
Yes.
Are you ready? This is a whole show dedicated.
A whole show dedicated to Q&A.
We are answering your questions.
We are.
And I told you we would, and they have come in.
Oh my
And
goodness, like a flood.
Like a flood. And so we're gonna do our best to answer as much as we can. Now,
Yes.
some of you have had questions that were very similar to others, and I'm gonna read them. And so,
That's right.
Yep. Sounds good?
I'm down with that.
All right, let's
do it.
go. Our new topic, or the first one that we're starting in, is dating.
Dating, okay.
Ready?
Great.
I'm a single mother and dating someone. He believes in God and the existence of Jesus, but doesn't believe Jesus is the middleman to God. How do I date someone who isn't where I am spiritually, and how do I hear from God to know we are?
Yeah, so when it comes to dating, you date for a reason, right? You date to see where you're compatible.
That's
you
right.
date to see where in sync.
That's right.
And it also exposes the things that you disagree on. And it all comes down to what you feel are non-negotiables. I think in every dating relationship that's looking towards marriage, there are non-negotiables are not the same. So I'm not gonna cookie cutter an answer.
Yeah.
But I think she should just continue in this relationship. And if she starts, there's not a sync or there isn't a connectivity,
Yeah.
she might wanna pump the brakes on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you agree?
I have an add to it.
Okay, great.
All right.
That's
next
great.
one. Yep. Thank you for your question, ma'am. All right, next one. What advice would you give to a newly engaged couple? We want to ensure that we are taking the right steps. In addition to, that was a question. Here's another question. How do you know that you're marrying the right person? And so, what would you have to get a newly engaged?
Yeah.
You know, taking the right steps. Counseling.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna
That's the
say
easy
that.
one.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna say that and sound like a broken record.
Yep.
The other thing I would say, family and your friends on both sides should be able to speak into what's going on in this relationship if you are getting engaged. Now, I'm not saying everybody,
Yes.
but
Very good.
there are a few close family members and friends.
Newly engaged.
When,
That's right.
when we got ready to get engaged, after we got engaged,
Yes.
I had to talk to.
You had to talk to a lot of people.
I had to talk to Mummy. I had to talk to Diane.
You sure did.
Eric.
That's right. Joseph?
Joseph.
Yeah,
I
talked
think
to a lot of
Joseph was
people.
in the mix as well.
Probably.
There were several people that signed off.
Everybody's like, who are those people?
Right. There were several people that signed off on me to you.
That's
they
right.
signed off on me for you.
That's right.
And vice versa. I flew you to Cali to meet my parents.
That's right.
There were a lot of people
Yeah.
that
That
Corey
wanted to meet.
said something.
Yes.
Chris said something. A lot of people had something to say about it. So I think in a multitude of counselors, there's safety.
That's
Obviously, you can't have everybody in your business, but you should have
A core group of people
a
that
core
you
group
trust.
of people. Some,
That's
you know,
right.
between 2 to 5 people.
That's right.
That you trust to speak into your life, and if you trusted them the same amount of trust in them to speak into your life as to who you're going to marry.
For sure. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Having the safety and the counsel, because your friends or the loved ones around you might see something about the person that you don't see. And in fact, when Tim and I were engaged, everybody that I introduced him to were just completely shocked. They wanted to they couldn't wait to meet him because
Right.
they were like, who in the world they needed to meet this celebrity.
Yeah. I became instantly famous.
Yeah, you sure did.
Yeah.
You sure did. Okay, great question. And then I think I added on to that one. The other question was, how do you know you're marrying the right person?
Yeah.
I probably didn't need to add it on, but we just grouped it together.
Yeah,
right away.
absolutely. And I think again, I don't think this is something that you have to know and feel for yourself.
That's right.
But this is something, again, other people can speak into.
Exactly.
And if you do it with that multitude of counselors, you get peace and you move forward from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's super great. Okay, what does putting God first while dating look like? And then there was another one that was very similar. As a married to God at this time, what would you say I should be doing to prepare for marriage once God finally brings the man of God to fruition in my life? So there's that, putting God first. it's similar in our answers that we would give for that.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I do. As it relates to putting God first, this is no different than what you were doing when you were single.
That's right.
In my opinion,
Exactly.
right? You were putting God first in your single expression of relationship, where you weren't sleeping around. You weren't.
Yes. Well, hopefully you weren't.
Yeah, hopefully you weren't.
Yeah.
I think when I hear that, it's almost like, what were you doing prior to getting in this relationship?
Nothing should change.
Yeah, nothing should change, really,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You until in one of the messages that there's glorious sex, and glorious sex takes place between two people that are married, a man and a woman. Inglorious sex is any sexual activity outside
That's right.
of the covenant of marriage. And so when you put God first, whether you're those things don't change. You don't get in a relationship and God gets knocked out of his number one spot.
Right.
He should stay first.
That's right.
You should, and that person should be third, and you should navigate the relationship that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Okay, next question. Still in dating, and yet preparing for marriage. Should I be actively looking for a husband or just enjoying my life, waiting for God to bring someone to me?
So there's always tension in this.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna vary based on personality.
Okay.
Right. I feel like and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, but most women want to be pursued.
Yes.
Women that they want to be pursued, but they don't mind dropping some hints or expressing their interest.
Yes.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
So there's always been this kind of tension, especially in church, where it's almost like, this is what the woman's supposed to do.
Right.
Go hide
Right.
and let your man seek you.
Be found.
But if you never leave the house.
Exactly. You have to do stuff too.
Unless you're going to fall in love with the burglar that breaks in your house, how are you going?
Hopefully no one's breaking into your house.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you have to go out and like Target, Walmart, and you know.
Although you can meet people there,
you can.
Not necessarily has to be the ideal
So I would say
place.
put yourself in some
situations in which you can be found outside of your home.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'll say another thing, and this can be controversial, but there are a few good dating apps. There's pros and cons to both.
Yes.
But there's some that give you enough psychological profile and information to at least match you and get you started.
Yeah.
On a journey that may end in marriage. And so use all of the resources that are available to you.
This is true.
If that's your personality. Now, if you're the type of person that's like shy, I could never step out into, a single, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go on a retreat where a bunch of single people would be, or get online and do a dating app or whatever, then hopefully the FedEx man meets you at the door.
At least he has a job.
He does have a job.
He has a job.
He's gainfully employed.
Got good insurance.
Right. I guess so.
I think FedEx has good insurance.
Okay, not a problem. So
you know what? But I want to say this. I do think dating apps get a bad rep sometimes.
They do get a bad rep.
I don't have met their loved ones, their spouse.
Yes.
On a dating app.
Yeah.
And to me, it really is no different. It's just a meeting place.
That's right.
Like any place else.
Yeah.
That's
right.
As if you went to church, there's crazy people in church.
That's right.
There's crazy people in a restaurant.
That's
there's
exactly
crazy
right.
people everywhere.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say, well, they're just crazy people online. Well, you walk outside your door.
Yeah, there's crazy people in your neighborhood.
There's crazy people in your house.
Yeah.
You may be crazy.
Wow. It's very true. Yes.
So, again, no matter where you go or what you do, you're still going to have to put up your filters and your parameters to make sure that you're safe.
That's right.
And do your due diligence to research people and find out who they know. I will research everything down to a T as best as I can, because you just don't know. Back years ago when Tim and I met, I didn't have drive as I do now, but he didn't have much family here, so I couldn't research him as much. But I did take my time with him. We took our time. So at the same time, it felt like our process was long, although it was very short.
Yep.
And I don't recommend that to the average person, especially now. I mean, this is 20 years ago, where things were slightly safer. But guys, take your time. Keep your walk with the Lord, that doesn't have to change.
Right.
In that, you are preparing for man yourself
Yes, good.
to be with somebody. And so hopefully they're doing the same thing so that when you come together, it's a match made in heaven.
Great.
Okay, next question. A friend of mine is going through divorce right now because she is married the wrong person. I am not about that hustle. And that is how it is written in here. I know there's claps in there, so I'm putting it in there to emphasize. I want to go through what seems like unnecessary pain. So here I am asking your advice. Is there such a thing as the one, or is it in fact a choice that we just have to make? Did God stop matchmaking after Adam's audacity? Also, how does one know who the right person is?
So I gotta bring some realistic perspective to this.
Come on.
You can marry the one, the right one, and you could have passed all the checks and balances based on what we discussed before.
Right.
Your mama met him,
right,
and your counselor met him,
right,
and y'all prayed,
for sure,
and y'all had a feeling.
That's right.
And then
Shekinah came down.
Right. The glory of God came, and there were, angel dust in the air, and okay, it was great, right?
Right.
Well, it's a choice.
Yes.
That you are making to this individual, and this individual is making to you. And some people,
come on,
make different choices along the way.
That's right. Even the right person.
And there's nothing you can do about that. So here is what I'm picking up on.
Okay.
I think what I'm picking on based on this question is, why should I risk this?
Should I even do this?
Why should I risk getting hurt? And I just got to tell you, when it comes to love and when it comes to marriage, it's a huge risk.
That's right.
Because you have made a commitment. You hope the other person keeps their commitment. You hope that based on the vows that you all exchange,
that's right,
that 50 years from now, you'll still be together.
Yeah.
But some people go back on their commitments.
Yeah.
And it's out of your control and there's nothing you can do. So this sounds to me like, based on what she's experienced with her friend going through a divorce, she's afraid of the risk. I don't want to open myself up to that.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
I don't think her friend married the wrong one. You
get so deep in, and we just try to save years and years of stress and time by getting some of these tools that we're giving you in Unpacked, apply them in your getting to know, applying them in your engagement process, because it will just save you. If you get through all this stuff during your engagement and you're just like, you're married, good. Find that out.
Absolutely.
Find that out early on before you take that plunge. So, dear friend, take the time. Don't rush it. And in time, you will know.
That's
and
good.
Keep lines of communication constantly open. Thank you for your question. Okay, the next one. How much should I reveal about yourself to be naked with someone when you're dating? I ask because I don't want to bare my heart and soul to someone and then the relationship doesn't last. Now, I want to answer this one. This is
You do so.
Well, and you can answer it too, but it's really funny. I have a family member. I won't say who he is because I don't want him to be like, but I have a family member and I adore him dearly. And he's so funny because every time, not like he's been in a ton, but every relationship that I have seen him in, from the very first day, he lets these girls know everything straight up from the top. And I chuckle and I'm like, why do you tell them so much right off the bat? He's like, listen, I don't want nothing coming up. They can't say they didn't know. I'm telling them right off the bat. Like, if they want to stay with me, this is what this is. And I love it. I absolutely love it because if you're gonna run now.
Yes.
Run now.
Yes.
So, again, if you're going to be that transparent, make sure that they are just as transparent. Know right off the bat what you're dealing with.
I like that. It's almost like upon arriving at the dating relationship, there's a warning label.
There's a warning label.
Or at least like the nutritional.
That's right.
Or the ingredients.
The ingredients.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Everybody turns over the loaf of bread or whatever they're about to get, and they want to know the ingredients list and how much sugar is in this.
What am I getting?
Yeah, what am I getting? I wish every relationship started with a nutrition list.
It is.
Or an ingredient list.
Yep.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
He's so transparent.
Hey, I
right
respect
off
him for
the
that.
bat.
Yeah.
And so, when the girl stays, he's like, hey, at least she knows what
She knows up front.
She knows up front this is the situation.
I respect that.
I love it.
I
love
respect
it.
that,
So
yeah.
kudos to you, my family member. But to your question, ma'am, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If you tell them, here's what this is up front, I'm working on it, or whatever the case is, then at least they know if they want to run, then they're not the one for you.
It's good.
Okay.
Good, baby.
Yep. Should one be actively searching for a mate, or just live and trust that God will bring the right person into your life? Yes, I'm sick and tired of people pushing me to get out there and meet people and work on my love life as much as I have worked on my career. As if there's a hidden treasure map that I'm supposed to follow in order to find a husband. Honestly, I'm not even sure I'm supposed to be looking for one. Listen, people love to pressure people into being in a relationship.
Oh, my goodness.
And if that is not something that is for you right now, then that's okay.
Yeah.
Own that.
Yeah.
You're not your other friends. If that's what they want, let them go be great. If you are married to your career, or if that's something that you're enjoying right now and that's the space that you're in, don't let them make you do or be in a relationship or something that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember there was a lady, we were at a pastor's retreat. This was way back during our Potter's House days. We were at this retreat, and there was a lady that was there that came to speak to all the couples. Mm-hmm. But she was a career woman, and she didn't get married till like late 40s, early 50s. She found the love of her life after her career was already established.
After her career was done, yeah.
And so she was past the age where she was going to have a family and have kids and stuff like that. But she found the love of her life.
Yeah.
Much later in life, after she established a career that she really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And so again, these timelines of like,
that's right.
You get out of high school, in college, you meet
right.
somebody, you graduate college, you get married, you have your first baby by 27.
Yeah.
Like these patterns are
they don't exist,
yeah,
and they're not true. And you don't have to follow it.
No.
And you live your life, and don't have anybody try to dictate how you should live your life. And when you're ready to get married, you will.
Yeah.
And if career is what you need to do right now, then be great, sister. Okay, thank you for your question. Next one is, that's it for dating. So the next one is single but being prepared for marriage. And
single.
We actually got a couple of them there. With the dating, I threw it in.
Okay.
What makes a strong relationship that lasts through till death do us part?
A relationship that lasts till death do us part. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of forgiveness in that relationship.
Yes.
There's a lot of communication in that relationship.
Yep.
There's a lot of forgiveness in that relationship.
Yep.
There's a lot of communication in that relationship.
Yep, all of it.
Then, on top of those two,
yeah,
there's a whole lot of forgiveness in that relationship.
Right. That's right.
And a bunch of communication in that relationship.
That's right.
I mean, honestly.
It's the truth. You're right.
Till death do us part, those two things are going to happen over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You're going to communicate, and sometimes you're going to be understood.
Yes.
A lot of times you're going to be misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to forgive the misunderstandings. Yep. You're going to wash, rinse, repeat, and do it all again.
That's right.
So.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's how you make it last.
That's how it lasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you keep touching one another.
That's right.
Keep touching one another.
Yeah.
All right? There have been many times in our marriage where we would be frustrated or be angry, or I know I'd be mad at him. And so, but I did never want to go to bed. That's such terrible English, so forgive that. I never wanted to go to bed with him thinking I was so mad at him that I hated him. So what I would do was I would just touch him. And it just might be my pinky toe would just barely touch him just to be like, I'm still in the game. Barely, but I'm still in the game.
I had a pinky toenail of hope.
Pinky toe.
That's what it was. It was the pinky toe of hope.
Pinky toe of hope.
Yes.
And so my leg would be stretched way across on the other side of the bed. And then I'd be like, take that. I ain't saying anything to you, but get that pinky toe.
I got that pinky toe. I'm all about that pinky toe.
Okay. So that was it for the single but prepared. Next one is sex and intimacy. He's clapping it up. Okay, first question.
Let's go.
How do you initiate sex in marriage? We have had a hard time being intimate and romantic.
How do you initiate sex in marriage? We have had a hard time
being intimate and romantic. Well, first of all, that's very sad.
Yeah, absolutely. And then how do you initiate it? That's interesting to me.
Yeah. Maybe this one clearly needs a lot of communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's it clearly seems like there's some sort of barrier there. And you all need to have some really intimacy is not necessarily physical.
Correct.
It is emotional, it is heart. And so I think we need to start there with communicating in that area. And if you all do not have, if you all can't even breach that, then I would definitely suggest you all get counseling for this.
Yeah.
If you can't even talk about it amongst yourselves. But yeah, having these sort of hard conversations and figuring out where each other, where you all are at.
Yeah.
You know, in this area. But clearly, if it's a hard time being intimate or romantic, there has to be something is blocking.
Yeah.
So we need to have some hard conversations. Anything you want to
add? Yeah, I would just say good sex starts with good communication. Mm-hmm. And if that can be the foundation, that can work its way up to the bodies coming together. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for your question. I hope that gets better for you. Next one, how do you keep intimacy, romance, connection during the busyness of life?
Schedule it. Schedule sex.
Put it on the calendar is what he's saying.
Yeah, put it on the calendar. Again, communicate it. When you get in that busy season where you have kids and where you have careers and where you have challenges, you got long days and where you got college, you're learning. These are the growth spurt years, right? Mm-hmm. Educational, financial, marital, familial. I would say schedule it, right? Mm-hmm. And there's wonderful ways to make that flirty and nice, and use your text messages and write on napkins and express to your partner how much you miss them and how much you want to be connected with them, and when is a good time for us to come on the same page. And again, some sex is about the roller coaster.
That's right.
Right? That's the dopamine. And some sex is about the bonding and the oxytocin. Mm-hmm. And so in those times, you need to communicate to your partner how the connection helps the both of you stay together. And then you plan it at a good time that's good for both of you all. And then you do it. Yeah. Right? You execute on what you planned. Yeah. And it may be a 6 out of 10. It may be a 4 out of 10. But you're scheduling that connectivity so that it doesn't turn into this very wide chasm between you all physically.
That's great.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. What does a wife do when the husband wants sex daily? What is the sacrifice? Who sacrifices?
Wow. Daily sex sounds completely unrealistic. Sounds amazing if you could do it, but it also sounds completely unrealistic. And so I think expectations need to be tempered.
For sure.
Right? Okay, not daily, but again, good and great sex starts with good and great communication.
That's right.
And so sometimes y'all need to y'all need to carve out time outside of preparation to be intimate to say, hey, at this season of our lives, what's our rhythm?
That's right.
Twice a week, 4 times a week, 7 days a week sounds like a stretch.
Right.
Right? If we can achieve that, let's give each other a high five.
Right.
But I'm not sure that's sustainable.
Right.
Right? Just with bodies and days and, you know what I mean, fatigue and
for sure.
cycles and,
all types of things.
all kinds of things, sicknesses. So let's find out what's a healthy rhythm for us.
That's right.
At this stage of our life. Let's agree on it.
That's right.
And once we agree on it, let's commit to it.
For sure.
So that we both feel like we're getting what we want.
Right.
So where I would say daily sounds a little bit unrealistic.
Yeah.
I would also say if it's like twice in a month, that may be unrealistic as well.
That's right.
So have a conversation about
healthy compromise.
Yeah, a healthy compromise about what is a good rhythm for you all, and move on from there. And let's just, if you were at 7 days a week and something's changed, that needs to be communicated.
That's right. You guys have to have check-ins with each other.
Yeah, you do.
Where you are.
Yeah.
And if it's daily, then why is it so?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to get checked out.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to know, is testosterone levels super high? Is estrogen levels super low?
Right.
Like, sometimes it's just a simple, like, let's just go get checked and see.
That's right.
You know, physically.
Yeah.
What's going on in our bodies, so that you all can have these conversations where one's just not frustrated, like, I just don't see why not. You guys have to kind of go to this deeper conversation and have your expectations. Absolutely. Thank you, baby. Okay, next one. How do you handle issues such as weight in marriage? My husband and I have always wanted 2 kids, and about 3 to 4 years ago, my husband told me he wouldn't consider another child with me if I didn't reach my weight loss goal. This cut me to the core and left me feeling unwanted and not enough. We struggle with intimacy and do not have sex unless I initiate it. While I know my husband loves me, it is hard to feel wanted as he doesn't pursue me. Can you please help us?
Oh,
wow.
Man, I'm so sorry to hear that.
That's devastating.
That's tough. The thing that kind of perked my attention was her saying that this was her weight loss goal. So if they've both committed to a certain weight, and then like I have some friends that they have, from the time they got married up until now, over 20 years, they have had a covenant with each other that, hey, we can't be 15 pounds over what we came in at. Right. And if we do, we're gonna have a conversation about that.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because stress can be involved in that. Yes. We're not just going, oh my goodness, you're letting yourself go. It's like, hey, we made a commitment. What's changing that we're getting here? Are you now comfortable at this weight? Are you know what I mean? Are you kind of not caring? You're not working out anymore and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So this sounds like something that they both agreed to based on the way it's said. And she had a goal, and for whatever reason, she didn't reach it, or she can't achieve it anymore. And now some things have changed. His response seems extreme.
Very.
But I think, once again, this is an opportunity for a deeper type of conversation.
Definitely.
To get to the bottom of what's really there.
Yeah, that is very hard. And, you know, again, we don't know how things are said in the relationship, especially when it comes to weight and women. It's such a sensitive issue, very touchy.
Yep.
You know, certain things can cause weight that you just can't, for age, thyroid issues.
Yep.
There's so many things that could be a factor that you can't control.
Yep.
There's no matter how much dieting you do, it's just not going to go away. And so there has to be a level of sensitivity there, and have gentle discussions about how that can go forth. Now, you know, if you all are desiring to have kids, and that's something that you talked about, that's very difficult to pull the plug on such a matter like that when there's going to be natural weight gain in even carrying children. And so I think you all definitely need, you might even need a mediator or a counselor to help with this particular one, because that's when weight is an issue with women, there's such a level of identity that comes with it, and how their securities or insecurities begin to flare up. And so sometimes if words are said in a conversation like that, that hurt may be there even past the situation, even if the situation gets cleared up, to know that that's how you feel about me could be more eternal than even after the kids come. So you all might definitely need a mediator or a counselor to help you in this particular area. Everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this week's topic of Q&As. You guys have had amazing questions, and thank you for sending them in. We're not done yet. We're going to keep answering your questions, and so I thank you for submitting them. We're going to do our best to keep this going. Until next week, we love you. God bless you. Bye-bye.